There have been many cases in history when people had to deal with questionable time travel stories, and the most exciting thing in each such story is the final part. Check this out. Do you know what happens when someone invests $800 in the stock market and then makes $350 million out of it? The answer is that the FBI comes for this person. In 2003, the whole world heard about a certain Andrew Carlson. This guy spent several months on the stock exchange. He bought some stocks and sold others. He invested his money in companies that then quickly began to increase their value. No one believed that someone could predict the behavior of the market so accurately. His wealth grew every week, and soon he had $350 million in his account. Of course, the Securities Commission couldn't pass by such a fraud. But was it a fraud at all? That's what the FBI had to find out. They arrested the guy. Andrew didn't resist and behaved absolutely calmly. The agents were sure he would use some excuses like, "I didn't do anything, I was framed, you've got the wrong guy." But Andrew Carlson said something no one expected. He admitted that he knew all the changes on the stock exchange in advance because he came from the year 2256 using a time machine. Of course, the FBI agents didn't believe him. They found his documents and began checking his identity. And there they were, faced with a real mystery. They couldn't find any records or information about this person. He just appeared out of nowhere and started making a lot of money. He said he couldn't resist when he had the opportunity to go back in time and get easy money. He tried to act carelessly, deliberately losing some money, but he failed to pass unnoticed. No one believed him. Okay, if he's lying, then where did he get the information that allowed him to earn so much money? Let's say one large company decides to absorb another. The information about this deal is secret, and no one can know about it except a narrow circle of people. Andrew couldn't have known such secrets, but he still got this information from somewhere. The FBI never managed to figure this out. The corporations and companies he made money on didn't find any records of Andrew Carlson. No one knew who he was. Also, he claimed he knew how to defeat many diseases and what events would happen soon. It seems he was telling the truth. But there was one small detail that cast doubt on his version. 2003 was not the best year for the U.S. economy. So why did Andrew Carlson arrive during this period? What was the point? Anyway, the FBI didn't believe him and put him in jail. A month later, someone posted a $1 million bail for him. Then Andrew Carlson disappeared. Perhaps he got to his time machine and went back to his world. Soon, the news about the time traveler began to spread all over the world. Well-known news sites wrote about Andrew Carlson. Articles about him appeared in Japan, Australia, Germany, the UK, and other countries. And of course, journalists started calling the FBI to find out more details about this story. And you know what they discovered? There was no Andrew Carlson. The FBI was tired of telling everyone that this story was fiction. It was fake. And it appeared thanks to one resource, the Weekly World News. This tabloid liked to create such kind of news. One day it wrote about an airplane that landed 37 years after its departure. And everyone believed it too. The Andrew Carlson story became so popular because it was posted on Yahoo News. As soon as users read it, it went viral. Of course, the FBI never detained Andrew Carlson, and nobody made $350 million on the stock exchange. New York, 1951. A man named Rudolph Fentz is walking along a dark street. He's wearing strange clothes, a long old raincoat and a hat. People around are staring at him in surprise. The man doesn't care about it. He starts crossing the road in the wrong place. At this moment, a car comes from around the corner. The driver doesn't notice the man, and an accident happens. The police and ambulance arrive. Fortunately, Rudolph is alive. Doctors and rescue services are trying to identify the man. They find a strange old-style passport. The police begin to investigate the case and find out that Rudolph Fentz disappeared without a trace in 1876. And now, almost 80 years later, he appeared on the streets of New York. Rudolph Fentz says he is a time traveler. The story of Rudolph Fentz was written in many newspapers and books about time. Over time, it began to acquire new details. Many people believed in its authenticity, but one researcher decided to find out the truth. He discovered that the myth of Rudolph Fentz first appeared in a 1950s book with science fiction stories. In 2006, somebody posted a strange video on the internet. It was about some Swedish man that claimed that right at that moment, he was in the year 2046. The man said he was fixing the sink in his kitchen and teleported into the future. Further in the video, he met a 70-year-old version of himself. Two men smiled and said they had a great time. They hugged like best friends and showed the same tattoos on their right arms. Then the video ended. This record became popular. People started looking for these two guys, and soon they got the answers. It turned out that this video was part of an advertising campaign ordered by some insurance company. One of the most famous cases of fake time travel occurred in 1941. One sunny day, the South Fork Bridge was reopened in Goldbridge, British Columbia. Many locals came to see the new construction. One man among them was different from the rest of the people. Someone took a photo of this guy and thus made him the subject of much discussion. So we see a crowd of people in this black and white photo. Most men are dressed in tuxedos, ties, and hats. Women are wearing neat berets and jackets. But among them, there's a man with a modern hairstyle who's wearing sunglasses, a printed t-shirt, and a sweater. And also, he's holding a modern camera in his hands. This model was too small for the 40s. In 2010, the photo was found by internet users, and it went viral. They called it a time-traveling hipster. The most exciting thing is that experts have confirmed the authenticity of the photo. But further research showed that the appearance of this man actually corresponded to that time. Sunglasses first appeared in the 1920s. They weren't popular, but the hipster clearly had a sense of taste. His hairstyle was typical for that time. It only looks unusual since almost all the other men in the photo are wearing hats. This guy's clothes aren't from the future. If you look closer, you can see that his sweater has a sewn emblem of the local Montreal Maroons hockey team. The camera he's holding is a cutting-edge gadget. In 1941, Kodak released its portable models. In fact, you can see many stories about time travel. Archaeologists found a video camera next to a knight's armor. Carbon analysis of the camera showed it was more than 1,000 years old. Or, a human skeleton was found next to the remains of a dinosaur. Almost all of these cases are made-up stories, and if you look for evidence, you'll find nothing but articles in some unreliable newspapers. Time travel is real since we are moving forward in time right now, but a jump into the past or future we see in movies is impossible. If this were the case, many tourists from the future would appear in our world. But such a thing as teleportation can happen, although it doesn't work the way you think it does. Anyway, this is a topic for another video. That's it for today. So hey, if you pacified your curiosity, then give the video a like and share it with your friends. Or if you want more, just click on these videos and stay on the bright side.